This is the PGYTECH OnePro Flex backpack. It is a hiking / camera hybrid backpack, and I've been using it for a couple of weeks now. Took it on a couple of really big hikes, and I've gotten a really good idea of what it's capable of. And I'm excited to tell you all the little things that they've added in here. There's some really cool stuff going on here, and also to tell you about a couple of things that I'm not so thrilled about and I think could be improved. So secure the cup and let's get into it. Now, I first saw this bag when PGYTECH had it at NAB 2024, and there was one main feature on it that really got me excited about what they were doing here. If we look at the back of the bag here, you can see that there's this aluminum frame inside there. Now this does a couple of things. First of all, it gives it a nice rigid frame so it feels really great on your back. It gives it a nice shape, but more importantly, in my opinion, is the fact that it keeps this mesh part that's gonna be touching your back away from the actual backpack. It's the most breathable bag that I've ever used, and it actually made a bigger difference than I was expecting. So I took this thing out hiking. I did a fairly big, like 12-kilometer hike with a decent amount of elevation, and I have never had my back be more cool during the hike than when I was wearing this bag comparatively to like my other hiking bags. So I was really thankful for what they had going on here, but it was also really comfortable. And part of that comes down to the adjustability that they've added onto this as well. So we got nice big thick straps on here, and they've also got these points where you can adjust the height of your shoulder straps super easily. So if I'm going for the tallest point, if I want to move it down a little bit, it's really easy to do. This is a really cool system. It doesn't include any kind of Velcro or straps that you have to try and pull apart or whatever. It's really easy to quickly adjust if you need to. The shoulder straps are pretty standard as far as adjusting those go. At the top, we've got top load adjustments as well, so you can get the right shape for the top. And then down at the bottom, we've got some of the most comfortable waist straps that I've ever used. They're nice and thick, they're nice and squishy. They've got this kind of breathable mesh on them as well, but there's something about the shape of them that when it hugs around you, it just feels really good. This bottom section here kind of bulges out comparatively. That's the shape that I was talking about. And it feels really good if you get it in the right place on your back. Like it feels like it's curving nicely with your back. And that's where adjusting all those pieces comes in. The buckle for the waist strap is really nice. It makes it nice and easy to get on and off. And I like the way that these straps tighten and loosen as well. This is kind of my preferred method where you pull it from the strap, not from the buckle. And the waist straps also have adjusters too, so if you want to adjust how much they're hugging around you or how much they're pulling back and the shape of them, you can do that from the sides as well. Now, it is important to say, these waist straps don't come off. They are not removable. They are sewn right on. So if you are using this as some kind of a daily bag or something like that and you don't need the waist straps, they're still there. There's no getting rid of them. I would prefer if they were removable, but they've done such a good job at making them comfortable that maybe that was the trade-off. Talking a little bit more about the straps, in the shoulder strap on the right side, we've got this mesh kind of pocket in here that you could put, I don't know, a water bottle or your phone or whatever you want. We've got lots of attachment points. We've also got a chest strap that's got a smaller version of kind of the same buckle that we see on the waist straps, which is really nice. It's also got a whistle on it. On the left side, we've got two spots where we can put our capture clip. In the case here, I've got the PGYTECH Beetle clip, which I didn't do on purpose, but it is one that I really like to use. The straps themselves are quite thick, so it does make it hard to get capture clip around them. So if you wanted to put another one around this side, you have to do it pretty low where it gets a little bit thinner, but it is possible if you're willing to kind of squish this up a little bit. There are also attachment points on the right side of the waist strap, and then on the left side of the waist strap, there's a nice big stretchy mesh pocket that's zipped, so you can put your phone or your glasses or whatever you want in there. You could probably fit a lens in there if you really wanted to. You'll also notice we've got a handle up on the top. It's a pretty thin handle, but it's still fairly comfortable. And then we've got another one on the side. This one's even less comfortable. It's a little bit thinner and not quite as squishy as the one on the top, but we have no handle at the bottom of the bag, which unfortunately is kind of a big deal for me. I've noticed that a bunch of bags have been coming out with the handle on the bottom, and I like to be able to grab it down here and kind of carry it around like this. So not having that handle on the bottom kind of sucks. And there's also no handle on the other side of the bag either. So it's just the top and the one side. On both sides of the bag, we've got these nice big pockets that have an elastic here so you can stretch them out. This will fit your tripod or your water bottle. It does have a way to fasten it at the bottom if you want to lock it down there, as well as another strap up top. So if you want to fit a tripod in there and have it strapped down, you can do that. They do have these kind of hook style straps. I'm not a big fan of these, partially because you have to loosen them up in order to get them off. So you can't, if it's tightened down against, let's say, a tripod or something like that, there's no way for me to get this off without first loosening it up a little bit and then having to pull it off like that. I kind of just prefer a buckle, to be completely honest. And the other thing about these is that they're not removable. They're sewn onto the bag. So if you wanted to get rid of some of the kind of strappiness, it's all just kind of sewn right on there. There's not much you can do, including that one at the bottom too. I do really appreciate how big these side pockets are though. I can fit a pretty big tripod in there or a nice big water bottle. And then if we unzip this, on this side, this is our camera access. So if you've got a camera cube in there, this is how you're going to be able to get in there. But there is also a pocket on this side too. So we can open that up, and there are a bunch of different pockets for batteries, and they've got the little indicators that PGYTECH likes to put on there. So we can set this to battery being dead, or we can set it to battery being alive, so you know which ones you've got. And these are a little bit stretchy, so you should be able to fit kind of whatever style of battery you have. It's almost exactly identical on the other side, except on this side, there's no camera access. So if we open this up, we're just gonna see organization in here. So we've got a nice big meshy kind of stretchy pocket here. We've got a couple of stretchy pockets on this side too. So you've got just some like organization. I like to throw like a notebook and some pencils and stuff in here. It's a nice handy kind of out of the way pocket. On the front of the bag, we've got this bungee strap. So if you wanted to strap something in there, you can do that. But they've also got this hidden pocket down at the bottom that releases a tripod bottom pocket here too. So if you wanted to use both of those side pockets for water bottles or whatever you want to have in there, you can still get your tripod in here and use these bungees to hold it in place. But this also comes off if you want it to, so you can strap this down on some of the other strap points on your bag. So you can basically put your tripod or whatever you want in this pocket wherever you want. I like to have it here. It's quite handy where they have it. And it just kind of tucks away when you're not using it, which is really nice. And then this whole front section is also a pocket that you can open up. I've got the rainfly in there right now. It does come with the rainfly, but it's nothing too special. It's just, you know, the waterproof membrane that you put on top, just in case you're in like a torrential downpour. This front pocket is nice and big. You can use it for clothing, or you could use it for a gimbal. We've got two smaller pockets up at the top, and we've got a little leash so you can attach your keys or whatever to this. It's pretty simple, nothing too crazy. And then this little flap down at the bottom is actually where that tripod pocket is hiding. So it does kind of almost give you an extra little pocket at the bottom if you want to use that. Just pretty simple, little bit of organization that you can have right on the front of your bag. Now, the top of the bag is another place where they've done something kind of special. It's not a roll top, but it does kind of have roll top vibes to it. So there are these two buckles, one on either side, that are kind of holding the top down in place here. But if we were to either loosen those off, so you can loosen them off, or you can just fully unbuckle them. And when you open it, you're getting so much more space, so you can see how big that just got when you extend it all the way out. And you can use it like this and get as much space as possible, or you can use it folded up, and that top pocket still does open, so you can still get in there. You're just closing it down a little bit. And then inside here, we've only got the one pocket for kind of organization. It is a stretchy kind of mesh, but it's also nice and big. I wish that there would have been a couple more like smaller pockets inside here for organization, but it's nice to have that one pocket up in the top there. And it's a little bit tough to show here, but there is this extra kind of flap here that you can zip away, and that will give you dual access from either in the camera compartment or in the top. So I'm gonna leave this open for now so I can show you what that looks like in a second. Let's throw something in there. I'll just put my keys in there and we'll go find them later. Now, when you fold out this top part, there are some attachment points as well, so you can use those if you want. 2 on the top and 2 kind of closer to the bottom of the bag. The problem that I found with this top section, so I was putting some things in here like my filters and stuff that I normally keep in a front pocket so they're nice and easy to get at. And because there's no structure on this front part when you've got a smaller camera cube in here, you can see how it just kind of folds away. As soon as you start to put a lot of stuff in there, whether it's folded out or not, it really starts to push down like so. And if you've got, like I've got, a kind of medium-sized camera cube in here so that you've got a decent amount of space in the top section, the problem with that is then it gets in the way of actually being able to get at the zippers. Another thing about this top section here is that if you extend these straps out a little bit, you can use this as storage for something like a sleeping bag or a tent. We've got 2 straps at the bottom, and it does come with utility straps, so you can use any of the kind of extra mounting points and stuff like that to strap on some kind of sleeping bag or tent or whatever. So it really is built for people to be able to take camera gear and go backpacking if they want. Let's flip it over again and I'll show you the inside. First of all, I really appreciate that this bag opens to the side. This is something that I think all camera bags should do. If they open from the back like this, where you put the bag down on its face so that you're not getting the back part dirty, I think they should open to the side, and I'll show you why. But first, these are little safety features. So they're like kind of magnetic clasps that get in the way of the zipper, which can be annoying, and mostly I found annoying, but I think the idea here is that there are 2 of them. You pull by this little thread here and it just unclasps the magnet. And I think the idea is that if you leave the zipper unzipped, so right now it's open, and if you've got a bunch of camera gear in there, technically I can lift this or I can move it around and nothing's gonna be able to fall out. But mostly what I found is that they just got in the way of me wanting to use the zipper. I don't make that mistake often of accidentally leaving it open and grabbing it by the handle and having it fly everywhere or anything like that. So here's the thing, it opens to the side like this, which does 2 things for me. 1, it makes it so that less of the back that is touching my back, the back part, is touching the ground when it's open. Whereas if it opens this way, more of that back piece is going to be touching the ground. And second of all, I just find this a nice, easy way to be able to see everything instead of it being twice as long and having to, you know, move over everything to get to other stuff. So right now I've got the medium camera cube in here, or at least I believe this is the medium. There are a bunch of different sizes. There's one that takes up the whole size of this, so you get a lot less of that top pocket. There are some that are only half size, so you could do one of these and then put another one above it if you really wanted. Whatever your kind of choice is, they've made a bunch of different camera cubes, and they are really nice camera cubes too. I really appreciate that they don't curl over on the corners, so they're nice and square. You get the whole space. And then the dividers too are really nice. They're not like super duper thick and squishy. They're a little bit rigid, but they've got these grooves in them so you can kind of play with them a little bit if you need to. The Velcro seems to work really nice, and they're also lightweight too. And another thing about the camera cube here, so the top part of it doesn't come off. And because of the way that the camera cube attaches into the main part of the backpack, so you attach by putting these little things, I forget what they call them, like bull horns or something like that. You put them through these little holes in the main part of the backpack right on the side here, and that holds it in place. But if you were to try and fold this underneath, it would get in the way of those things. And so what they've done is over on this side, they've actually just really elegantly giving you little Velcro. So normally it just kind of sits there like that, but when this is open, you just attach the Velcro to it, and now when you open and close this, the lid automatically opens with it. It's not the most like nice looking thing. I don't like being able to see this necessarily. I would prefer if it kind of tucked under, but I really like how they've come up with a really simple solution. And in the end, it doesn't really matter. It's definitely not a deal breaker, the fact that I can see this and that it's not as pretty as it could be or whatever. Also, while we're in the bag here, this top pocket that we were talking about before also has those little bullhorn things, so it can strap down, so you've got some kind of actual structure there. And there's a pocket that's got a quick rip, so you can grab this, and open it like that. And this is where that other flap that we opened from the top is. So I should be able to grab my keys out of there. So you can go all the way through from the top and the back if you want to. Or if we zip this pocket up, which doesn't zip up very well because the zipper is only technically supposed to be used from that top part. So I'm doing this backwards. If you've got nimble little fingers, you can make it happen. There you go. And now we've got two separate pockets. So this is its own thing right here. So you've got some storage space. And then on the other side of this flap is where the top pocket is. So you can keep those separate if you want, or you can get at them both. I do wish that they would have put a two-sided zipper on this one so that when you open this one, you're in the back of your bag, you're checking out things and you're like, oh, there's something in the top that I need to get at. I'm gonna open this and you're like, oh no, my zipper is closed from the other side. Now I gotta like try and get my nail in there and get it started, and then it is possible to do it. But if they just put a two-sided zipper on that, it would be much easier to get into that top pocket. Now, just so you can imagine for a second, if we take these little bullhorn things out, if we had another camera cube or something up here, if we had the bigger camera cube, this would just kind of get shoved up in there. And the only thing that I don't necessarily like about that setup and the way that they've done things is that there ends up being like a lot of fabric in your way. Things get lost and hidden underneath there. So you got to be a little bit careful about that. It's not the first backpack that I've run into that has that problem, and I don't necessarily know what the solution is. So I think it's just kind of a bit of a compromise. If you want all the versatility, you're gonna end up with a bunch of extra fabric. And then if we get this out of the way for a second, we can look at the door compartment. So we've got a laptop pocket here and a tablet pocket here, and these are really big. So this will fit my 16-inch MacBook Pro, absolutely no problem, like lots of extra space. And the little clasp that they've got has a magnet in it. It's really nice, actually. It's easy to use and it snaps into place nice and easy on its own. Then they've got this little pocket, this kind of bubble pocket up at the top. This is not necessarily my favorite pocket. I almost wish that they would have done one with less fabric, like a little tighter to it, and just like maybe 3 little pockets with a zipper across, or if they did little pockets in here so that you could organize stuff, but like a little bit more streamlined. I feel like maybe that would have worked better. Now, in terms of my overall thoughts on the bag, I was really impressed with how comfortable it was. For a big, long hike, I wasn't getting nearly as sweaty as I definitely do sometimes with backpacks that are directly against my back. That ACEFRAME is really nice, and it's really lightweight compared to the way that it looks. Like, it looks big and bulky, but the material that they've used, although it definitely is strong and is able to take a bit of a beating, like I was throwing this around and it's got no scratches on it or anything, it's still really lightweight somehow. So they managed to find a really nice material to use on all of the outside. The zippers are all weather sealed. The material itself is weather sealed. And the bottom section here, we've got an even more durable material on the bottom, on the place where you're going to be putting the bag down the most. It does stand up on its own, which is really, really nice. Is it perfect? No. I don't like that this hangs over here and you can't get at your front pocket as easy as you want to. I don't really like these little magnetic things. They just kind of get in my way. I wish that they would have used normal clasps instead of these kind of hook style on the side. There are just like a bunch of little things that are not necessarily deal breakers and don't make as big a difference in the negative direction as the ACEFRAME makes in the positive direction, because this is an incredibly comfortable bag for hiking and for those kinds of things. I'm really impressed with what PGYTECH has done with the OnePro Flex. This is the 40-liter version. There is also a smaller version if you want that as well, and I think a couple of colorways and a bunch of different sizes. So if you want to check out what they've got available, you can go to the link down in the description. If you got something out of this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.